So, it's happened. The news is filled with stories of cyclones, floods, forest fires spreading, scattered around the globe, excessively freezing temperatures on the east coast of America. But more than that, population shifts, lakes drying up, people losing their livelihood, moving for economic reasons, population shifts around the world, conflict producing refugees. The world is heading into a state of turmoil, and I feel very much for the young people who are looking to their futures, and many I know are getting very anxious and some are getting depressed over their prospects in life. What sort of a world are they moving on into? But I want to try and share some good news with you and bring you to realize I want to offer something that can help people to really face an uncertain future more constructively. I myself had a difficult time. In 1962 there was something called the Cuban Missile Crisis. You may not have heard about it from schooling these days, but I was 10 years old at the time. Cuba had become communist, and Russia had been sending nuclear missiles over to Cuba, which America considered as a direct threat to them. There's a more complex story behind it, but nevertheless, America decided they needed to resist this direct threat. They armed their missiles, their airplanes were up there with nuclear weapons to force these ships to turn back that were taking these missiles. And I remember still those scenes on the television of seeing these cargo vessels going over with the missiles laid out along them, and realizing that we could have a nuclear war within a 3-minute warning. And it really deeply affected me. 10 years old, I doubted that there was anything serious to live for. I really wondered, why are we bothering? And it did affect me for, I would say, decades, to be honest, as to how could I make my life meaningful when everything could just go up in flames when some accident happens at that sort of horrendously powerful level of nuclear war. Anyway, here we are. All these decades later, I'm still here. And along the way, I found ways to strengthen myself from within. And I've developed a method called emotional logic to help people understand the unpleasant emotions that arise with disappointments, setbacks, hurts, threatening change that's uncomfortable, that leaves you uncertain and unpredictable. I've developed a method to understand how unpleasant emotions fit together to make a healthy adjustment process that leads from shock, where we doubt our resources, onto a growth cycle where we explore new resources and new ways to build relationships with people, even through difficult times of change. So you can come through stronger through difficulties. Now, everybody's aware these days of something called post-traumatic stress disorder. It initially came out of conflict situations, but increasingly recognized there are lots of situations in life where people become traumatized. And that sense of trauma affects our body chemistry, affects our brain development, and can affect health and well-being and social functioning for decades, for a whole lifetime. But now there's an increasing awareness that 30 to 70% of people who go through traumatizing episodes can come through stronger. It's called post-traumatic growth. And this emotional logic method of understanding these unhealthy emotions and how they fit together to make a healthy process, we can now say quite confidently that learning how to activate your inbuilt emotional logic accelerates your path from stress through to personal growth. It accelerates the path to post-traumatic growth. Now, this is what people need in the uncertainties that the younger generations are facing in this world. I've got every respect for the depth and skills and the sensitivity of young people, but very often they haven't got this structure to know how to harness that unpleasant emotional energy, because it's there for a survival reason. It's inbuilt genetically to move us to explore new ways to connect with each other and adjust together to life's challenges. That's the point of the whole thing. But very often we're living in cultures that are very individualistic. They make us say that, oh, emotions just get in the way of reasoning, or it's only just for your own personal experience and what makes my life valuable and meaningful. But that isn't why they're there. They're there to give social messages to others about the fact that we've got values and that our values are being challenged and we're not happy about it. And we need to understand these messages, and that's what learning emotional logic can do for people. They not only understand themselves better, but they can look at other people and say, well, perhaps you're experiencing loss, and that's why you're behaving in that way. So it improves empathy, it improves conversational skills, it improves planning and decision making together. Sleep improves as well, because stress is reduced. And this is something that we can offer to people. Now we've got learning resources that are widely available through the website, Emotional Logic Centre. Just Google it or whatever your search engine is. And you'll find in there an online introductory course, we call it the OIC, in the resources shop. It's only £10. It's a very low cost, purposely low cost, because we want it to go widely. There are 7 or 8 5-minute videos there, downloadable resources, and access to an online tools site, we call it, where people can lay out maps of their emotional reactions to difficult situations, and show those maps to their friends and family, and say, this is what I'm feeling, and there's learning material there on how you can harness that into something more. So I really want to encourage you. There's also a book that my wife and I have produced of 15 stories of lives transformed or communities transformed by applying this new understanding of emotions. All that's been said for 2,000-3,000 years about emotions only getting in the way of reasoning is not true. Modern research has shown that you need your emotions to make wise choices, and that's what the generation is going to need that's coming up now. How to make wise choices to respond when facing all of this environmental challenge that's going on. So I just want to encourage you. I do appreciate what it can be like to have a lot of doubt about your future and the future of the world, and to end up thinking that other people are mucking it up and it's beyond my power. But I would like to say to you that you will restore that power of choice to yourself, that power of choice to harness your inner energies, to connect with other people in more constructive ways that will build strength into your response to the challenges that you are going to face. It is going to be the nature of the world that new solutions are going to have to be found. So hopefully we can just give you an encouragement and a resource that can take you forward into that new world where you can be brave in yourself. Thank you for listening.